Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best budget mechanical keyboard.
Starting at number 5.
Logitech K845. Logitech's K845 replaces our previous budget productivity pick, the K840. It costs about $10 more, but adds white backlighting to the keys, which you can configure in one of 5 patterns, and adjust to 3 levels of brightness, plus off. For a street price of $59.99, you get a full-sized mechanical layout with an aluminum top plate and your choice of red, linear, blue, clicky tactile, or brown, tactile, switches made by TTC. For $20 more, you can opt for one of the 845CH models, which use cherry switches, red or blue. The company sent us an 845 with TTC blue switches, and we found them a satisfying substitute over the Cherry MX blue switches in our DOS keyboard daily driver. The Logitech K845 also sports an aluminum top plate that both looks good and delivers a more premium feel than you might expect from a keyboard in this price range. That said, if you're used to pricier keyboards with lots of heft, the 1.72-pound weight and plastic shell don't exactly scream high-quality keyboard. Still, the switches are rated to 50 million clicks, and the molded keycaps mean you don't have to worry about the labels fading, though we're not a huge fan of the chunky font. There are no dedicated macro or media keys, included software, or detachable cable. And the white backlight isn't as snazzy as RGB. But we also wouldn't expect all that in this price range. The flip-up plastic feet at the back do feel a bit more substantial and durable, though, than many other keyboards we've tested with higher price points. If you're after a simple, no-fuss entry-level mechanical clacker for productivity purposes, and perhaps some occasional gaming, the Logitech K845 is a great option, especially if you see it on sale for below its $59.99 MSRP.
Coming at number 4.
Havit KB487L. The Havit KB487L doesn't fit neatly into any other category, but it's such an interesting keyboard that we had to include it here. It's a standard TKL shape, but instead of having the usual cluster of shortcut keys along the right-hand side, it has a number pad. This leads to a have your cake and eat it too design that offers the space-saving advantages of a TKL keyboard but doesn't actually consign spreadsheet lovers to using the number row. Our reviewer, who rarely uses the shortcut cluster or number pad, didn't notice the difference during everyday use, but it's almost certain to throw off anyone who's used to a more traditional layout. Havit also equipped the KB487L with durable PBT keycaps that feel nice and boast a unique black, white, and orange color scheme that allow the KB487L to stand out among the sea of monochromatically faced keyboards currently available. This doesn't look or feel like a budget mechanical keyboard. Luckily, the KB487L's beauty is more than skin deep. Our reviewer didn't notice any mispressed keys throughout multiple days of playing Valorant or Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, and those games make it pretty easy to tell when you're doing something wrong with the keyboard, namely by making what should have clearly been a headshot fly off somewhere between the lost cities of Atlantis and Narnia. It may not be your preferred experience, but it's better than most linear switch-equipped options.
At number 3.
Redragon K615 Elise. Redragon has a reputation for delivering shockingly capable and well-built devices at bargain basement prices. And the Redragon K615 Elise continues that tradition at just $35. The K615 is a compact wired mechanical gaming keyboard with RGB lighting, low-profile tactile blue switches, and a solid feel that's aided by a metal band that runs around the entire edge of the device. Redragon even throws in a removable USB-C cable and flip-up feet to lift the back of the keyboard up for a better typing/gaming angle. Of course, there are compromises given the crazy low price and compact form factor. K615 doesn't come with software, so you'll mostly have to live with the 18 lighting presets, although you can record a custom light show via a complex dance of key combos. The limitation of just 61 keys means that many common characters and functions, like the arrow keys, get relegated to secondary FN functions. But that's a limitation of the space-saving 60% form factor, not a fault of this particular keyboard. Also on the negative side, Redragon seems to only sell the K615 with clicky blue switches, rather than the red/linear type that most people prefer for gaming. That said, as these are low-profile switches with shorter travel, that may be less of an issue. And amazingly, again, given the price, the low-profile switches can be swapped in for something else. 4 spare switches and a key and switch puller are also included in the box. Just know that the switches are Otomu style, with their pins closer together than most others. None of the many low-profile switches we had on hand would fit. So if you do want to replace the blue switches here, you may have to get replacements from somewhere like AliExpress. Undoubtedly, the Redragon Elise K615 is a bargain for all you get. In our time testing it with games and productivity, the only thing we didn't like about it was the general limitations of the 60% form factor, primarily the lack of dedicated arrow keys. We use these keys all the time while writing and editing, and also quite often to move the camera around in RTS games. It also would have been nice to have lighting presets that would change the keys to one solid color. But with some patience you should be able to do that via the custom setting if you follow the keyboard's minimal included instruction sheet.
Number 2 of my list.
Aukey KMG14. The Aukey KMG14, $58, was the only clicky budget mechanical keyboard we tested that didn't make us want to accidentally spill something on top of it. The clicks are pronounced, sure, but they're closer to the pleasant pinging end of the spectrum than the unbearable clacking end. Pretty much everything else about the keyboard was also a welcome surprise, given its price. Aukey equipped the KMG14 with RGB backlighting and full N-key rollover. It also used double-shot ABS keycaps, which is surprising given how cheap this mechanical keyboard is. Still, the KMG14 comes with a keycap puller to make it easier to swap out the keycaps with something a little snazzier, which was a nice touch and something we wish some other manufacturers had thought to include with their more unfortunate-looking keycaps. While this is marketed as a gaming keyboard, we're recommending it for typing, simply because the clicks prove to be distracting to us and our teammates while we play games like Valorant and Call of Duty: Modern Warfare. There are no tactile or linear switch options here that would be less distracting. People who prefer single-player games, or who don't mind grieving their teammates every time they press a key, will find a fine gaming keyboard here as well.
And number 1.
Cooler Master CK552. The Cooler Master CK552 is the best budget mechanical keyboard for most users. It's a full-sized gaming keyboard with RGB backlighting, an aluminum top plate, and a 5.9-foot, 1.8 USB 2.0 cable. It comes with Gateron switches in red, linear, blue, clicky, or brown, tactile. Our review unit came with Gateron red switches that were responsive during gaming, so much so that our reviewer occasionally pressed keys they didn't mean to. This means it's not the best for heavy typing sessions. Choosing a different switch type might help, but the other switch options have been harder to find recently. For gamers and enthusiasts, the CK552 features onboard memory that can store up to 4 profiles and on-the-fly controls that make it easy to record macros and control the backlighting. It's also compatible with the Cooler Master Portal utility, which offers more granular controls over many of the same areas, but isn't as robust as rivals, such as Razer Synapse. Still, this dual approach should appeal to people who don't like to install a bunch of software and those who want greater control over their peripherals.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.